Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, coming to you again from DC, but it got really cold outside and rainy. Obviously, we're supposed to get some snow coming in this weekend, so I've taken it into my hotel room where it's nice and warm and have some coffee. But I did want to chat. I want to do a follow-up from the last video because our last video talked about 2024 as the year the liberal left died globally. It died all over the world. Check that video out. There's a study that just came out. Over 70 elections throughout 2024. 60% of them were won by the political right, only 40% by the left. That 20% gap is the biggest gap we've seen in 40 years, like since 1990. I wanted to talk as well, sort of a follow-up on how 2024 is widely recognized now more and more as the year the legacy media finally died. The legacy media finally collapsed. I don't know, you probably saw that President Trump is suing CBS for $10 billion for election interference in their deceptive editing with that Kamala Harris answer on 60 Minutes when she was asked about the Gaza, the Israeli-Hamas war. And she just gave this pathetic word salad. And in the lead up to the interview, strangely, CBS, in the preview, gave her original answer, which was the word salad. But then when you saw the interview itself, actually on 60 Minutes, they edited it to a very sharp, coherent answer. And Trump's like, that's a lie. That's not what happened. That's deceitful editing, and you're deliberately trying to interfere in the election with that. Anyway, and they would never release the full interview unedited. So Trump sued CBS for $10 billion, and now we're getting reports CBS is ready to settle. And that, of course, is coming on the heels right after CNN just a few days back actually lost their court case with a fellow by the name of Zachary Young, whose security company was disparaged by CNN as financially profiting, illegally profiting off of trying to rescue people out of Afghanistan. He obviously sued them for defamation, and he won $5 million lawsuit. Jake Tapper was at the center of that. And of course, that came on the heels of ABC News having to pay out $16 million to Trump because Georgie Stephanopoulos referred to Trump disparagingly as a convicted rapist, which of course was not true. And he doubled down on it, said it over and over again, and the like. So when all is said and done, I think all of these losses that are just racking up for the legacy media really in the end is just indicative of the fact that they died in 2024. And we can actually pinpoint the date the legacy media officially died, and that was June 27th, 2024. What happened on June 27th? Well, that was the night of the Biden-Trump debate. And after being told for the last 3.5, 4 years, if you count the campaign of 2020, after being told that Biden was the single most competent, brilliant, mentally agile man on the planet, the whole world, we're talking the entire world, saw with their own eyes the total failure of mental acuity coming from Biden. And all of a sudden they recognized, everyone recognized, we knew it, of course, the entire 4 years, but now everyone recognized that the legacy media had been lying to us. They'd been bluntly lying to us. Now we have to remember that trust and confidence in the legacy media has been dropping dramatically over the last 20 years, literally like a ski slope. And you see it in the Gallup polls every year, just of our public institutions in general. They have been, trust and confidence has been collapsing for at least the last 2 decades. Well, on June 27th, whatever last semblance of trust and confidence there was for the legacy media just imploded. The only people who continue to avail themselves of the legacy media are people who want to be lied to. They're generally the woke left, and the woke left wants to be lied to because it can't handle reality, as we all know.
Hey, gang, we often talk about how we can maintain and build up the conservative way of life. And one crucial aspect of that is your routine. Staying strong physically, mentally. It's not just about living longer, it's about living better, which starts with a good night's sleep. Now, I've partnered with Beam because they're a health and wellness company that's put in the time and rigorous research to craft science-backed solutions that truly optimize every system in your body from the moment you wake up until you lay your head down to sleep. Now, I've been using Beam Dream every single night for a while now, and it has completely changed the way I sleep. The endless news cycles, the uncertainty about our future, the weight of it all. I gotta be honest, it gets to me. It left me tossing and turning for hours. I have a very hard time turning my brain off. But gang, seriously, I'm not kidding you. Since taking Dream, I literally crash at night. I fall asleep so fast, and I sleep deeply and soundly all throughout the night. Beam Dream is made with the highest quality sleep promoting ingredients to help you unwind and get that deep sleep we all need and deserve. In fact, it's become a nightly ritual of mine that I look forward to each and every day. If I may make a suggestion, I love their brownie batter flavor. You got to try it with a little cream in there. It's beautiful. Plus, I never wake up feeling groggy the next morning. I wake up feeling rested and ready to give my all, making a huge difference in how I show up every single day. Right now, you can save up to 35% off with my exclusive Beam discount. Just click the link below or scan the QR code on the screen and use code Turley at checkout. It's time to stop letting sleepless nights hold you back. Transform your sleep and your day with Dream, because you deserve it, gang. Click on that link or scan that QR code right now.
And so what we're seeing here now, ironically, is whatever vestiges of the legacy media that want to remain at least somewhat relevant in the age of independent content creation and big data that comes via the internet, where the people now have access to the same digital information that anyone at CNN does. For the legacy media that wants to still remain relevant in this new techno-populist era, they're now turning on each other. They're now throwing each other, as it were, under the bus, admitting that over the last 10 years, there has been a concerted effort by the legacy media and Democrat operatives, Democrat leadership, to cover up Biden's failing acuity that everyone recognized, apparently, starting in 2014. So in his last couple of years as vice president, Obama's inner circle were noticing it. Members of the media were noticing it. Obviously, Biden's inner circle was noticing it. Democrat leadership as a whole was noticing it. And but they convinced themselves in 2020 that Biden really was the only possible viable challenger to Trump. And that if they kept him in his basement, and that if the media ran his campaign for him, and then they engaged in an election where 70% of all votes cast were cast by mail, that they could pull it off. They could turn Trump into a one-and-done president. So there was a concerted effort by the legacy media that members of the legacy media are admitting now to cover up Biden's failing acuity. Now, Mark Halperin had a great commentary on a piece that came out from the New York Times, I believe just yesterday. That's doubling down on stupid. Even in the midst of the legacy media, particularly like, for example, the Wall Street Journal, turning on the New York Times, turning on the Washington Post, turning on the LA Times, turning on the Chicago Tribune, turning on CNN and MSNBC and ABC and NBC and CBS, turning on NPR, the whole of the legacy media apparatus, admitting that they deliberately tried to cover up Biden's failing acuity. Nevertheless, as Biden exits into the sunset of history so he can take his place on the ash heap where he belongs, nevertheless, 4 of the New York Times best writers wrote a piece in the New York Times that basically stated that Biden though physically tired, remained mentally fit. Though physically tired, though physically frail and ailing, nevertheless cognitively cogent, the best Biden ever. They went full Scarborough. This is how the New York Times is ending the Biden years, with more double down lies. They're ignoring the number one rule of what not to do when you find yourself in a hole, right? Don't pick up the shovel and keep what? You stop digging, right? You don't do that. Nevertheless, they're doing it. And Mark Halperin just called the piece absolutely embarrassing and a total failure of being able to read the new room here, the new populist room, where the people, because of our hyperconnectivity, because of the internet, the people now have access to the same information, the same data as anybody at the New York Times does. And therefore, we now are able to fact check the New York Times. And what's the fact checking? The fact checking is very simple. Everything in that New York Times article that defended the notion that Biden was physically feeble, all the while mentally strong, every bit of it, the evidence for that came from Biden's own inner circle. So Democrat testimony was printed as automatically truthful by these four writers from the New York Times. Whatever Biden's inner circle said, they received as truth. And what, in the age of the internet, what the New York Times is quickly finding is the people, just the average citizen, availing themselves of data that's just as readily available to the editors of the New York Times. They're suddenly realizing the people are looking at that data and saying, that's not the conclusion we're coming to. We're coming to the conclusion that Biden's inner circle are full of shit. We're coming to the conclusion that Democrat leaders, whatever they're saying about Biden, is just a bunch of malarkey, as Biden would say. So the New York Times can double down on stupid all they want. It's not that no one's buying it anymore. It's that literally no one's even giving the New York Times the time of day anymore, except again for people who want to be lied to because they can't handle reality. We are in a new age today. Our first video looked at how 2024 was the year of the death of the political left on the global stage. It looks like 2024 was also the year of the death of the legacy media, which means that 2025 truly is turning out to be a golden age we never imagined possible. God bless you.
Many people have told me that God spared my life for a reason. This will truly be the golden